Welcome, episode 5, guys. We already had an intro, but we're having a re-intro.
Me and 20 minutes onto it.
Me and Alex were freestyling for a bit. We were making like a podcast episode 5. So,
up close and personal.
our high school friend Caio Castellini, the man, the myth, the legend. I mean, technically, I didn't go to high school with you, but the first time I met you.
You guys didn't cross over?
Huh?
You guys didn't cross over?
No, we didn't cross over. The first time I met him, shout out Layla, by the way. Shout out Gringo, shout out Gestad. This motherfucker Kai. I mean, you give your, I mean, like, you tell, I'm not gonna speak on your behalf, but basically he just wanted to fight me because I was really good friends with his girlfriend at the time.
What good Caio friendship started with he wanted to fight me.
Last time.
One second.
Not as hormonal anymore.
No, I'm teasing. We have my stunt of the day. Alright, so today is the 1.5 chug of the milk. 1.5 liter.
1.5 liters.
Sorry about this, Caio.
And by the way, Alex is known to like guzzle down 7 bananas in like what 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Shout out TikTok, you can watch them there.
Here we go. I'm not so nervous about the chugging aspect. More so, I'm just a little scared that I'm gonna throw up because you see the milk gallon challenges, and I don't have a bowl with me.
That is my worry.
Yeah. I'm
sort of excited, but...
Alright, fuck it. Headphones off, here we go. I thought it had gone bad for a second.
Please check the date.
Yeah, no, it's
By the way, guys, this is not fake at all. Like, Alex does real
Don't try this at home, kids.
Don't try this at home, cause for real, you know.
No, try, if you're gonna try it at home. Don't do it in front of other people. Don't put it on YouTube.
We see Alex get sued in the next week.
Fuck, I should be recording this on my phone, mate.
Bro, live the moment. Fuck the phones.
Bro, it's all about promotion these days.
Oh my god, he's actually going for it, bro.
Bro, he's a fucking beast. What? Pew,
Oh
pew,
my god, bro.
pew, pew.
It's empty.
Oh my god.
You're insane, Alex.
So how do you feel, Alex?
I feel full.
Where you had the headphones back on? Guys, just another disclaimer, like none of that was fucking fake, that was all real. And yeah.
I'm just really full. And it was cold, so I got like a brain freeze.
So, going back into it, Caio, you're from Italy, you're in Santa Fe right now. Shout out America.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And
Got stuck out here.
yeah, man, we had a crazy year last year in London. Thank God I finally graduated.
Slightly too crazy.
Slightly too crazy.
Slightly, yeah. Caio, why and what the fuck brought you out to Santa Fe with your family? Because I know that my dad used to live there, and he said he actually used to go see your grandmother.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he went to sculpting school in Santa Fe.
No
and he used to go
way,
have like
that's
tea
insane.
and shit with your grandmother.
So my grandmother's been based here for about, I'd say, for the last 30 years.
And
had
she's
a spell where
Italian?
she moved. No, she's American. So
Okay,
that's my mother's
yeah,
side of
your
the
mother's
family.
side,
That's
right.
American.
Right.
And then my grandfather on my mother's side is Italian. But anyways, so yeah, she moved back here to be closer to my mother. My mother moved to be closer to my grandmother. And she's been here for like 4 years now. So I just try and come out when I can. And it turns out that when I did, Corona went down.
Yeah.
And it was actually fantastic because I got out of Milan.
Yeah,
Which would have been a nightmare. And I got stuck here. So I've been here for the past 4 months, which is, it's a lot. I mean, Santa Fe is it's a very elderly place. There's not a lot of young people.
Is it as
I don't know
beautiful?
anyone.
Is it as beautiful as
It's
everyone's
gorgeous,
said to be?
bro. It's beautiful. It's
You got-
Santa Fe.
No,
Go ahead, Mush.
I was just gonna say, like, you have skiing an hour away and you're in the desert, which is
Exactly.
both worlds.
So it's a really strange environment because it's basically on the Mexican border, right? The southern edge of New Mexico State is on the Mexican border. But Santa Fe is situated at 2,200 meters in elevation. So it's really high up, but you have all this desert terrain surrounding it. So you can ski, like I went skiing a lot, but then at the same time I come back home and there's cacti in my back garden, you know?
There's
That's
what in
crazy.
your back garden? Oh, cactus.
Cacti. Plural of cactus.
Plural,
Mush.
okay, yeah.
Dictionary.
I've stated this before, my two favorite names in the world. I think
I know,
Caio and Cosmo Castellini.
Yeah, honestly, pretty like traditional,
Love, thank you.
traditional Italian.
Names,
Love,
sounds
love.
and everything. Oh my god.
Bro, when you put that on your story, I was so touched, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it came out of nowhere. I was just thinking about it one day. I was just like, I don't think I know. Yeah, I just randomly like I hadn't spoken to Caio in a while. I just randomly posted on my story like.
Love.
Honestly, like these are the two dopest names. Like I don't know why I was thinking about it. I just love those names.
Love.
So what, you're going to Milan in what, a couple of days?
I'm going tomorrow. So,
Really?
you know.
Oh, so we got you at a
Yeah.
good time, mate.
Yeah. And I've had to prepare a ton of stuff. I have about 5 separate documents for my brother and myself. Like a lawyer's letter, like a ton of shit, bro. A ton of unnecessary shit. And I hope that they let me leave from JFK, bro. We'll see.
Yeah.
My uncle had some trouble, and he has an Italian passport. So, you know, we'll see.
Because you don't?
No, I don't. I have an Irish passport and an American one.
Right.
We're going to travel back on our Irish passports, just because that's part of the EU.
Yeah.
But it might be iffy, you know.
Yeah.
We'll see. Majid, you flew recently, didn't you?
Yeah, it was empty, like the airport in London.
Empty,
It
right?
was completely empty, but the flight was absolutely full to Geneva.
Really? But did they space you out on the plane?
No, bro, I was sitting next to this old guy, like he was like whatever, like a
He was
normal
hacking.
old guy, and I had just a runny nose, and obviously in the plane everyone has to wear their mask, so I was just sneezing my nose, but I felt bad obviously, and then the guy like
You were sneezing?
I was
next to an old guy.
next to an old guy,
Oh
and then like
my
the half of flight just turned like this, like the whole fucking time, and I felt so bad. Like I asked him to go to the bathroom every 3 minutes as well, so I can not like blow my nose in front of him and shit. Don't worry about the gray area, you know what I mean?
The gray area.
Yeah.
I wanna.
Whatever the fuck that means.
Like
I'm glad I have someone else here who actually knows you, so I'm not the only one who's confused. And
No, he
you know
means
what I
the gray
mean.
areas in the sort of touchy sort
no, that's not what I mean.
No,
I mean like the
say
stuff
this.
where we're not saying
He
shit.
means like the uhs and ifs and buts and
Yeah.
whatnot.
What the fuck is the gray? What do you used to mean? I mean, maybe I have the wrong
I
meaning
thought
of
the
gray
gray
area.
area was like an area that was sort of sensitive, like
The in-between, the limbo
race or
No, none of that. I already had my controversial moment in episode 2.
That's enough. I'm done.
Yeah. I think that's a.
Martin has a rule book to his left, you know, that Alex drew up for him.
Shout out, not police brutality.
What?
Shout out, not police brutality. Like the opposite.
Yeah, we can shout that out. Oh, also, Caio's got long hair, so our
Yeah, bro, what the fuck, you have a ponytail,
Our
bro?
shout out of every podcast. Shout out Harry Styles.
Oh yes, shout out Harry Styles.
Caio, please.
Shout out Harry Styles.
Thank you very much.
Shout out One Direction.
Caio, if you could pick one of the craziest memories that you have from last year.
Clay Street?
Yeah. Do you have a specific
It's a long
night?
list.
Anything?
It's a
I mean,
long list.
yeah, it would take a while for us to fucking.
It involves you two, so definitely, I mean,
What are you talking about?
coming back.
The craziest night in
Bro, the ping pong table, bro. The ping pong table.
Like when you
My
broke it?
sacred ping pong table.
Oh
I
yeah.
come back home, I get into the ground floor of the house, and I see fucking Majid. No, I don't know if I was there actually. Maybe I just saw videos.
We didn't jump on the ping pong table. It was a different table.
You jumped through the pool table.
No, it was like a stretcher table.
Yeah, it was like a little fucking shitty
Bro, the
one.
ping pong table.
The plastic shitty.
Bro, the ping pong
Yeah,
table.
the ping pong table someone else fucked up. That
Bro,
wasn't us.
The ping pong
I
table.
swear. Well, maybe it was, but I don't remember it being us.
The ping pong table. I
That
fucking.
night when you guys were jumping off in the you know in the ground floor.
Yeah,
you guys were jumping
the whole
off.
I ain't a lover but I ain't a hater.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yo, dude, but like the ping pong table, we left it at Clay Street. I never took it out, and I came back like 2 months later. And I saw it there, and then I came back 3 months later to get it, and all of a sudden it just disappeared. Like I saw it through the window, you know. So like they took it.
Bro, someone took it.
Yeah, 100%.
Someone took it.
Wait,
I
so
remember Amjad, bro. Fucked up that guy
what
was.
was the sketchy?
I mean, that whole street was just a
It was
mess.
so sketchy, bro. There was like the most illegal shit happening on that street.
Yeah. You remember the situation, Alex? The guy stealing 6 months of rent?
Yeah, wait,
from-
explain that. What happened?
So basically, our landlord, or who we thought was our landlord, was actually an imposter. He was completely false. And it turns out he works for this guy in Dubai who was the actual landlord of all the houses on that street, right? Which was a new development. So the guy was collecting 6 months rent on 5 different properties illegally.
What?
So he stole around £200,000 from the original landlord in Dubai and fucking fled, bro.
Because he said they weren't being occupied.
Yes, he was telling the landlord, "Oh, I have the keys. Don't worry, they're not being rented."
Like
and
no
in
one.
the meantime, he was taking 6 months rent in advance from everyone on the street, including us. You know.
What a fucking quiz.
So,
Yeah, and then like they came to us with like lawyers and books and shit. And they told us all this shit, and I told my dad, and then we got to stay there for like a month free or something
Didn't you
like that.
So what happened was the original landlord, the guy in Dubai, figured this out, and he sent fucking lawyers to evict us from our house because we technically hadn't paid our rent.
Yeah.
Right?
But we paid it
so
on
these
done.
people show up, and they have all these notices and these letters saying basically you've been living here illegally. But it was insane. It was the most stressful experience. Also, like it completely explains why he wouldn't help us resolve any fucking issues with the house. I mean, we lost all our keys in the first 2 weeks, gone.
Yeah, bro, for 6 months, the house was unlocked.
We didn't have keys for 6 months.
I don't know how we didn't get robbed.
Ground level street.
You didn't get robbed because you had squatters 24/7.
We got egged, bro. We got egged.
Like when you guys were in school.
Permanent residence.
Yeah, when you guys were in school, there was like me or Sultan.
Wait, what are squatters? What do you mean by squatters?
People who just
Like just people staying there, bro.
people staying there who aren't the people who live there. Like,
So like even
it was always
I
full.
was in Saudi for a month, and you, Natasha, stayed in my house for a whole
Yeah,
month without
yeah.
me even being. And
Yeah.
Caio, remember when all those people had a party downstairs in my room?
What do you mean? As if it happened one time.
I wasn't there, bro. I don't fucking
There
know.
was a minimum of 6 people a day visited that house. 6 different people visited that
yeah.
day.
And
Like
the-
6 to 12, 6 to
but
12.
I think the craziest thing was the variety of the people.
It was insane, bro. I mean, that's why I love living there, you know?
Yeah.
It also cost me my degree, but...
I want to ask you like a bunch of things. I'm gonna say like a bunch of the topics right now. Music culture, rap in general, and then we'll get to the freestyling thing as well. And I wanted to ask you like who your favorite artists are and for what reason.
Why don't we start with hip hop?
Okay.
Caio, you are a lot more.
But wait, before we start with hip hop, can you tell me like what interests you most right now in the world, or like what you think you've been thinking about recently, or just in the past that you think is important that people don't really like think about a lot or bring too much attention to?
I mean, the first thing that pops into my head, given the global climate, the state of affairs around the world, is the idea of just thinking globally and acting locally. I know it sounds like such a cliche, but
Thinking globally and acting locally.
and acting locally,
Okay,
yeah. So
I never heard that. I'm definitely gonna use that for a rap song for sure. Thinking
it's
globally,
like
acting locally.
like having intentions in your immediate space to do good, but also keeping like an awareness of what's going on around the globe, And I feel like with all, like for instance, with the whole BLM issue, with issues involving minorities, with issues involving just being a good human being,
Injustice.
Sure, any form of adjustment, civil rights,
Suffering in the world.
Just bad in the world.
Yeah,
right?
negative hatred. Like racism
Hatred.
is hatred. Racism is a form of hatred as well.
Yeah, obviously.
I know. Fuck. I had something to say about that, but I forgot. Whatever.
The idea that we should make far more of an effort to act on a smaller scale in our own environments than try and pretend like we have the capabilities at these stages in our lives to change the world on a global scale,
Yeah.
Make the difference that you can with the right intentions, and then eventually build towards making more and more of a difference,
I think one of the great things about social media obviously has its like huge downs and all that, but not even through social media, but just internet in general. There are something like I think 7 different major cultures within the internet. And so when you separate that versus how many countries are there? 230 something or 200?
Just 250.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, so you think about all the different cultures in the world, like physically, and then the ones that are up in this physical space. All of a sudden, they become much smaller. Virtual space. They become so much smaller, and it's made everything just like memes, for example. They've connected people from all over the world in such a specific
cross-generation, cross-race,
exactly in such
everything.
a specific way, because they hit things that like almost highlight how similar every person is.
Every person is,
and that's like the whole idea of relatable jokes have kind of shown
Have truth to it in a way.
Yeah, have truth to it, but show how directly like we're all so similar, and that's like something that's so great about this whole internet era, and how basically you can, everyone is eventually going to gonna be on the same wave. It'll probably mix and mash. It's not all gonna be Western views. We might take some things from the East, some from Africa. It's gonna be all that.
Hashtag social media rules the world.
But I have this faith that that we really are headed for more of a utopian world.
What did you think? Heavenly.
As the globalization of values occurs, because then eventually everyone is going to be on the same page of how
acceptance, understanding.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think that's one of the great things about the internet, despite all of the weirdness and how it's making people feel and the disconnect from reality and all that. But if not,
I mean, pros and cons, like everything. No?
Yeah, for sure.
I speaking on that note, it's really a shame that everything that comes out of China in the virtual space is censored. Because it's an enormous part of our global population. And B, I really think that the Chinese internet culture must be something that's just wild, It must be incredible, it's really a shame that it's all censored.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of.
I really enjoy to see a Chinese presence in the virtual space.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, because I think also it's interesting because you said it's such a huge part of the population of the world.
1 in 7,
Yeah, insane. But I think also it's just interesting because despite the Western...
Because I'm listening to you.
Oh.
When you look at me. Because I'm a big deal.
China take up such a huge part of the population, as you say, and I think it's interesting because how I said there are multiple virtual cultures. We kind of feel very secluded in our Western virtual culture, and we see.
I mean, our physical culture as well.
Yes, of course, but we come from very international circles, despite that. And I think it's just interesting because our virtual culture is very, very much the West. It's very Atlantic. It's between the States and Europe mainly. And I think like you say, it would just be, we're so...
And social media rules the world, technically.
Yeah. But it's just we're...
What you laughing about, boy?
It's just these random
ADHD, boy.
There's so much shit that we just have no idea that's going down in the East. Their cultures are wild. I learned in
Shout out ISIS.
In university, I became really close friends with this Korean kid, and he's one of my best friends, and he was opening my eyes to just such a different...
He's a super nice guy, right?
He's an amazing human. He's finishing up his army service. Can't believe I haven't seen him in...
He did army?
Yeah, he's been there for 2 years. Can't believe I haven't seen him for 2 years, man. Miss him.
Shout him out.
Shout out Willie.
I feel there's so many Asian people called Will. That's not a racist comment, right?
I mean...
She's a general comment, but
generalization.
But there's so many because they all change their Chinese names to common English names, right?
Yeah, I don't know how they go about that. Do you know how they go about that?
I think it's a personal preference. They just choose it based on
you
what
just
they
pick
think
it?
is appropriate. Yeah,
but now they don't. I feel like that's how it started. Maybe.
You see, but this is a perfect example of how little we know of Asian culture.
Exactly. Have you guys heard about butthole tanning? It's supposed to energize you.
Yeah, I did it today.
It's supposed to energize you.
Yeah,
it's the biggest hoax of 2020.
I don't know.
Okay,
you haven't tried it. When was the last time your asshole got any sunlight?
Okay, guys.
Exactly.
Before we move on to funny
the asshole needs sunlight.
We started by saying positivity and all that, and I just wanted to add my own aspect. Nothing deep, nothing too deep, but I do agree positivity is key. Be good in one another. You can only take hate out of somebody by just loving. Hate doesn't take out hate, right? Isn't that what they say?
Can't fight fire with fire.
Unless you kill the other person, no.
Yeah, and yeah, man,
I have a question. Did you ever end up getting yadded? Have you picked a spot?
I haven't, bro.
I feel like now you should have done it in Santa Fe, actually. I feel like they'd have some mad artists, no?
So I have this friend who's a very good tattooer, and he just opened his own studio in Milan. And I really want to go see him, but the guy's booked for like 3 months in a row. You know, he only has like 2 guys working there, and everyone in Milan is trying to go to this guy. He's really cool.
Maybe you can shout out. Do you know his name? Sir Edward Tattoo. Sir Edward Tattoo Milan. Apparently amazing.
He does very fine sort of line drawings and that kind of stuff. It's very subtle, and that's the sort of tattoo I go for. But
you wanted the Picasso bull, right?
Yeah, so Picasso did all these sketches of animals, mainly bulls, because the bull was a big thing in his life. But bro, everyone I speak to that has tattoos says, bro, some people say you should really think about it, you should consider it, you should know exactly what you're doing. And some people should just say, bro, if it's too thought out and methodical, it kind of loses its value, you know? So,
and then there's also cringe. There's also cringe tattoos, which is another thing. I hate cringe tattoos.
I'm covered in cringe tattoos.
No, but like they're not exactly cringe.
I was talking about my fucking on my leg. I have the word something tattooed in Arabic.
I was just going with the.
Have you seen that one, Caio?
No, I haven't.
I got the word something on my leg in Arabic, so it's shay. So literally, here I'll show you. It's literally so that people who don't speak Arabic say like, "Oh, what's that?" I'm like something in Arabic, and it just keeps going. It's so fucking dumb,
of course. Oh, get the P now.
Oh, you can't fucking see it on that.
I can see.
Oh fuck. Yeah, whatever.
Can we just see Majid's phenomenally accurate goat? Love that little thing.
It's up there.
I missed that little image. Is he up there? Oh my god.
The goat with the Family Guy monkey. Are you flexing?
Yeah, I am.
Love it. Big
You don't have to call me out, bro.
It was funny.
You're in great shape. You're looking good, man. Yeah, so you're not incredibly proud of those tats, right?
No, I love these tats.
Oh, you do? Okay, fantastic.
These are like what you were saying, like you don't think about it too much, but it feels in the moment.
I think
now you love them, right?
I think it really I think it really depends on the type of person you are, and so I think like you just got to do it your own way and not listen to other people. Like you, for example, I don't see you having stupid tattoos because you're not because well, it's not, not because I'm saying you're particularly intelligent.
No, I'm just not reckless like that, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't see you getting tattoos at all.
More reckless.
No. Trust me, you don't.
Stay clean, bro. Honestly.
I'd have a goat on my bicep.
You want to be that sort of parent that tells your kids, "I didn't get a tattoo when I was your age."
Yeah.
No, I do. I respect cats.
Okay.
I do like cats.
But at least you still have the right to say that.
I feel
if you want to be a dickhead.
I feel like you would definitely be like a well thought out like artistic tattoo would look dope on you.
I hope so.
But I hope you know, those ones are fucking painful, my friend, and they will take time. The more precision you have, like all of ours have like no precision pretty much.
Yeah,
they're all just
my foot
easy
tattoo,
outlines.
My ankle tattoo is hard.
Oh yeah, that one's fucked.
No, you're cherub.
Yeah, bro, this is the first one I've ever like thought out, like spoke to the tattoo artist before. Every other single tattoo that I have, I got from walking. Yeah, every single tattoo I have, I got from walking into a tattoo shop on the day that I thought about getting a tattoo. That's the only one I thought out.
That's also sick in its own right.
It was finally actually once Majid got a tattoo that I was like,
you got them.
that I was like, okay. And so like I'd been thinking about it for like a year, and then like after like a year and a half or something, because like then like after that year Majid got it, and then like 6 months after I was like, okay, fuck, I'm down for it, because you know no one really had tattoos. Like this has become a lot more sped up and a lot more accepted in the past like 3 to 4 years. No, you know, like
sure.
A lot of our social circle in Europe and shit like are still very uncomfortable.
Italians, full. Like everyone has tattoos.
Yeah, I mean it's part of, I feel like it's kind of a stereotype.
It's a big part of Italian culture.
Is it right for me to say it's a stereotype in fashion or whatever?
I mean, now, you know, that this whole sort of emo, I don't want to generalize it, but for lack of a better word, this whole emo punk culture is coming back, you know, XX, all face tattoos, that sort of shit. I feel like a lot of people are getting tats in terms of like...
And the Dubala is so common, the Dubala like line tattoo. And
those are all over the place.
Yeah.
But in Europe, especially in Italy, all the old school tattoos are really popular. Like all the sort of like thicker,
the
more
sailor
tats.
Yeah.
And there is like a different style of tattoos. I forgot what the name was, but like to get like not connected like sleeve, not to get connected sleeves, but to get different items like this or like how Alex has.
That's how
it's called a style. It has a name for it.
Maybe like jotted or something.
No, it's called like, I don't know what it's called.
That's what I think I'll go.
I know what you mean,
I can't get big tattoos because like I know that I get them so sporadically and stuff, so I can't get something like huge.
Also, none of yours are colored, right?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm not into that.
Yeah. All the old school tats, like in Italy, a lot of people have old school tats. They're colored as well. They're like super bold colors. They're like a sailor, a swallow.
Shout out Max.
There's a lot of like Native Americans.
Oh, the birds.
Max has two swallows.
American birds. Quarantine has been a big part of everyone's life, and a lot of time we spend that time playing.
You fucker.
Shout out fucking Warzone, man. Call of Duty. But the last time I won was actually with you and Aki like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And I've been playing so.
Shout out Aki if he watches this.
He does, man. He's our
I
biggest.
went on a fucking rager yesterday, bro. I got very upset. But anyways.
With him?
He invited some of his friends to play with us. And
Not shout out Aki's friends.
Yeah, not shout out them. I didn't appreciate the way they were playing, bro. Like fucking claymores, trip mines, all that shit, bro. Anyways, I'm not gonna geek out on COD in front of everyone.
No, man, maybe we have some Warzone viewers. Like, give us some tips and tricks.
Some tips for Warzone: don't play with us.
I mean, if you wanna like have a good social time, play with me. If you wanna win, definitely don't play with
No,
me.
but I will say, if you're a camper, if you use claymores, if you use a 725, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, we spoke a lot about rap yesterday with Max. So, I mean, we'll get into that. But before that, I would love to hear some of your favorite non-hip hop artists because we spent so much time talking about hip hop anyway.
Are you into the stereotypes like Bedouin, Solomon, all of them?
I definitely.
Not stereotypes. Sorry, I meant to say commercial.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's necessarily commercial. I say now it's more mainstream, you know, because they've really exploded. But I'm not so much into the classic tech house, deep house. I'm more into like my Afro house, you know, like disco that's been mixed up. I'd say the artist right now, like I'm really into Honey Dijon. She's an amazing DJ, and she throws it back, and she does all these like old school funk mixes, and she has a lot of disco in there as well, a lot of soul, you know, just good energy, you know, super groovy, super funky, like it's great. Another one of my favorite DJs is Henny.
Oh,
she's on a completely different vibe.
I mean, like I don't listen to much, but for some reason I added a lot of his songs, and you know, I like all music, but like I can definitely tell you it's good. Yeah.
He like does all these collections. He does these mixes that are called music for resting, music for sleeping. And they're all these very calm, sort of low
music for Molly.
House mixes.
Music for Molly.
Is it written?
Shout out Mykonos. I say Tropi.
You say
Canada.
Tropi. Tropi.
You know Tropicana is all mafia.
Just for the audience that don't know.
It's a money laundering front, bro. Big time.
And just for the audience.
It's run by Italians.
You're not gonna get fucking shot for this, are you?
I might, bro. Come get me.
Okay, so basically, we're gonna start asking some people or guests who we think like are into rap to freestyle
Let's
for us.
Let's also not pretend that Caio gave us this idea.
Oh, this beat's sick. Yeah, you have to do this. You don't have an option.
Yeah. Turn off my headphones. Like, yeah.
You gotta put it closer to there.
Okay,
So I'm just spinning, or are you guys joining in?
I mean, I'll join in after you.
Alright, fine. Oof. Yeah.
Start us with podcast 5. That's what I want to hear first.
Podcast. Oh, you want me to fucking. Alright. Shout out to Podcast 5. I'm just chilling with my boy CBD in the air. We getting high.
Hey.
Batman flowing through the sky like I'm ripping on the jeans and I'm hitting on this shit like we popping off a bean.
Hey.
It's just completely off the top, so it's just.
Don't worry, don't trip, bro.
Don't even trip, dog.
Retarded shit. I'ma hit the bit, do it quick like I'm skimming and I'm fishing off the fucking trippy tricks. Yo.
Ooh. Yeah.
I got orchids, I got flowers, and I need to pay mortgage.
Woo.
I just get fucking shit like I be clearing off the bar. Yeah, bro.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I'll be paying mortgage.
you accepted, so you didn't get kicked off the show.
Hey.
And now,
Up the top, man. I'm really up the top, man. I make them heads bop like a motherfucker Cyclops. What's a Cyclops, you ask? I ain't got a task at hand, but I put the flask in your butt and make it rebuttal just a bit like a motherfucking slut who just wanna have some kids. Man, I'm all up in the cut. Man, I'm all up in that function. Alex Lava Boy, can you show me all that loving?
Yeah, I'm the mana. By that, I mean I got a couple hundred guns and I'm about to shoot myself in the fucking back.
We don't
Why?
know that
Cause I'm
yet.
crazier than everybody with a twat. Girls, you crazy, but men are dumber. We like to do things that are so much funner. But fuck
Girls
it, man.
are crazy and the man's a dumber. I'm riding spinners with Hummers. You know I'm just like a bummer. Out like I'm homeless in my home and the sound is baseless. Out in my basement, sound too amazing. Though the shit is crazy. Why they keep on phasing? I don't give up, motherfuck fakes. They fugazi. All them in my place and I'm way too lazy. I'm talking about the past, now we in the present. I need to give my boy a gift, give that boy a present.
Alright.
In the future, do it like Medusa. Snakes in the grass, they might shoot ya. Who shot the couch? Fuck 12.
Alright.
I don't give a fuck. Bust my. Pop, 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 pop. Ratas. Yo, chill. I hate when guns are pointed at me.
Alright, so this next segment, Caio.
Hey, so.
Alright, good shit, Caio. This next segment, we have to get a bit serious for, unfortunately. This is a true test of your personality.
Yes. And before we start, okay, so basically we're starting.
Wait, just don't say anything. Just tell him what he needs to do.
So now you basically have a choice. One of us is gonna get shot with this paintball gun, which is an intense paintball. You've seen it before, and like I got shot on my dick in the previous episode, or the episode before
I
that.
did,
I
I
think.
saw that.
And yeah, so basically, Alex explain it.
You have to make a choice. Which one of us is getting
Alright.
shot?
Which one of us is getting shot today?
Oh my god, bro, you guys are evil. You're gonna make your cases?
Yeah. Cases.
Wow, bro, you're gonna put the puppy eyes on.
I mean, I'm just being real. I'm saying that like most people are gonna pick me because I'm the easiest one to pick, and like they always want to fuck me over because like for whatever. You even told me this earlier.
Bro, are you lying?
So for that reason, please pick Alex.
Bro, I mean, I'm a man of the people. I should
Alright, fair enough. I mean, I have like 20 seconds. I won't say any more. You make a decision. No, you make your decision.
That's it.
I think we've had some really interesting talks in the past, and I really like you. I think you're a great human. One of the more intelligent ones I know, and just overall great style, classy.
Okay, 10 seconds over. You have 5 seconds to pick.
This is all fake, by the way. You just don't want to get a shot.
Pick your pick, bro.
Can you spin the gun, or is that a cue?
No, you have to pick.
You have to pick. It's all about
You
you.
get shot.
Oh my god. Alright, so, objective about it, right? Marshall got shot in the dick 2 days ago.
Oh fuck! I didn't even think about that.
I still feel guilty to this day for some of the shit I've done to Marshall.
Ex-roommate love.
Watching this video.
Even though in the last,
fuck you and take you anyway.
even though in the last 3 days of Clay Street there was termites all over the fucking building, you're like, fuck this shit. I fucking hate you. I'm out of this bitch.
I was ready to get out of there. But in the sake of fairness, Marshall, you got shot in the pee.
I really did not mean to. Oh fuck.
Fuck. Bro, get it?
Oh my god. I like the white pellets. I like that.
And now to the next person we have on. Oh fuck, I hope it's one of my friends. That's the way it goes. We're gonna tally it up eventually by the end of season 1 of the podcast, whenever that is, and we'll see what went down. So,
I guarantee you Marshall will get shot more.
oh yeah, that's the only reason. That's the only reason why I'm not tripping, because I fully think that he's gonna get just fucking torched. We were speaking about this actually the other day. Do you want? Majid and I on one of multiple of our podcasts just about marriage and kids and shit. Do you want kids? Do you have a number in mind?
No, horrible little creatures.
You don't want kids?
No, I'm playing, bro. I'd love to have a big ass family. I would.
What qualifies a big ass family?
Multiple children.
Let me turn you.
Like three plus, but it's unrealistic.
Why?
No, not unrealistic. Well, this is such a pragmatic way to look at it, but I really feel like I want to be able to financially provide to a level that is appropriate. And obviously, the more children you have, the harder it is to do that. But I would definitely see myself having a large family, regardless. Also, my opinion will change, but I don't know, bro. Two children is also, it's a lot of joy. It's plenty. Also, we're living in a climate where having tons of children is not necessarily the best thing for everyone, but
that's what I was saying. I was saying that I would hopefully be able to, when we were talking with Max yesterday, I was saying that hopefully I'll be able to put my ego aside in a way and adopt the kids. Any kids that I have, I want to be able to adopt.
Also, I think that's fantastic, but I'd love to have a big family in an ideal world.
Yeah.
Same. The reason that I would love to have a large family, a united family, is because obviously I've grown up in a very split family, which also has its ups, in terms of lifetime experiences. But the reason that I say this, and the reason that my family is as split as it is because my father is homosexual. My mother is heterosexual. She's straight. They had 2 kids, me and my brother. And but to put this into context, a lot of people don't understand that homosexuality or sexuality in general is very much a scale. It's a spectrum. It's not like you're either heterosexual, bisexual, or homosexual. It's a spectrum that people shift along. If you take the baddest guy in a community and you put him in a jail for 50 years, obviously there's going to be environmental factors which you can't account for, but some people diverge towards homosexuality because of their environment. Some people diverge towards bisexuality because of sexual experiences. So people shift along that spectrum throughout their lives, right? Mm-hmm. And at the time when my father and my mother conceived me, my father obviously was leaning towards the heterosexual side, not straight. Otherwise he wouldn't have had children,
Right.
He just saved himself the fucking trouble and the ridiculous amount of money it costs to raise a kid, and not have had me. So he was.
Thank God he did.
Thank God he did. Thank God he did. Shout out, Dad.
Yeah.
Fuck you faggot.
That's one of those things only the son of a gay father can say.
Yeah. And honestly, huge respect for being saying that stuff and being noble about it.
No. I mean, it's just part of my life, man. I love my father. He's my fucking dad. He's an incredible human being. And, am I gonna let his sexuality define my relationship with him his entire life?
Fuck no.
I mean, people are free to do as they wish. If you'd like to have sex with men and you're a man, fine, bro. Who is it troubling? Who is it upsetting? The fact that people say that it's unbiological and that it goes against the Christian faith, I mean, I've never had a problem with because I'm not agnostic. I mean, I am agnostic, sorry. So, again, also, I want to iterate that the fact that there are people that are uncomfortable with homosexuality completely makes sense to me. Some people are very uncomfortable discussing homosexuality.
It's okay. I feel like it's okay to be uncomfortable, but it's not okay to be unaccepting.
Yes, that's what I was getting to.
But you're unaccepting. You're unaccepting in a lower level if you're uncomfortable. You have to some way. I think. Once again, you're closer to all this than we are. But I feel like it's the whole thing about with racism also how there's if you're not standing up for the oppressed in a way, you're letting hidden racism or comfort with racism.
Sure. It's like don't be against racism, be anti-racist.
Exactly. Or something like that.
But obviously, so for instance, without naming names, I have a lot of friends who come from stricter religious groundings.
Like me.
For instance, the Middle East. I'm assuming here, I don't know your father that well, but he would probably be kind of uncomfortable with the fact that my son is homosexual.
And a bit unaccepting, but not publicly,
Okay, well, that's fair enough, If you look at his cultural environment, you look at the context that he's grown up in, fine.
It makes sense. And compared to other people in his community, I mean, yeah.
I'm completely fine with that point of view. I genuinely understand it. But I draw the line at the point where people will actively go out of their way to make homosexuals feel uncomfortable because they feel uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
So calling them names, this, that, and the other. But if a person is uncomfortable and has a personal preference, it's not for me to judge them, or I would be doing the same thing if I was judging them for not liking homosexuality. You understand?
Yeah, I get that, and I think that kind of also goes back to what we were talking about before with the globalization of the world's values because of the connectivity. I think eventually people are just going to be. It's going to take time, but slowly but surely, everyone is just going to be accepting of if you're not hurting anyone else. You should be allowed to do, believe, say whatever you want.
That's not right. That's not right, or it is right.
No, that is right, and hopefully we're heading towards, which it seems we are. It's a difficult fight, but it's going in that direction. It seems.
Well, without the fight, there's no change. You have to go through that fight to have change.
100%.
Which is why I'm fully for all the protests taking place in the States, and that is the African American community's fight.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy that it's taking place. I mean, it's tragic at the same time, but it is going to invoke change.
I feel like quarantine in a way led to the huge explosion.
We talked about another podcast, but not very clearly, and I think it was basically like people realizing that the minorities were being affected so intensely by quarantine was just a huge, it showed how clearly they have such a more difficult time in their own country, in the States, because of systematic racism, which is just there, versus, so many white families were just like, oh, I have a longer vacation,
Yeah. And I know that we're not experts, but I feel at the same time it's okay to express why I don't understand the situation is happening, and it doesn't make logical sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it doesn't make logical sense, but unfortunately,
we don't know
a lot of things don't make logical sense.
And I guess the world is evil, money, cash rules everything.
It's changing. I have faith. I honestly have faith.
But there will always be suffering in the world. There will always be suffering in the world, no matter what.
Yep, and that's why hopefully. It will keep evolving.
But if you compare now...
It's just a matter of tackling the biggest issues first.
If you compare now to even a century ago, and of course a millennia ago, living standards, life has gotten better. There is less suffering. And there will be less and less suffering until hopefully we can live in utopia.
And even though people think governments are maybe corrupt and think they are in a way, in weird ways, but at the same time, if it wasn't for government, then the world wouldn't have evolved to this point, right? As well as people making huge sacrifices and huge efforts to personally go out of their way and risking their own lives to really do good and make.
I mean, clearly history would be very different.
So, how does it feel to grow up as a ginger freckled fuck? Ponytail fuck, let me rephrase.
You want the real story or just a fuck you goodbye?
No, the real story and then a fuck you goodbye.
No, the real story, I mean, when I was younger, obviously, young kids are pretty fucking malicious, names, etc., whatever.
Shout out Stowe.
Or you're stupid.
Shout out Stowe.
No, this was earlier than Stowe, bro. Around 10, bro. But yeah, I used to get called Ron Weasley, Carrot Head, but it's fine, bro. I mean,
I'm gonna start calling you that.
It's just kids being kids, and it only took me about 2 years.
I mean, I was a fat kid, so
I used to hate my hair. I used to want to dye it, and now I'm actually fucking happy that I have.
He's like an inverse.
You're beautiful in your own way.
He's like an inverse Trump. The skin is the hair, and the hair is the skin.
Okay, I think that one was a little bit too far.
No, it's all good.
Give us a fuck you and goodbye, because we gotta wrap this shit up, and then we'll call you right back once this is done.
Caio, is anything you want to add?
Anything you would like to throw out to the public? Other than how much you love us?
Just be a fucking good human being, man. It really doesn't cost that much. It doesn't take that much.
Peace, positivity, and prosperity.
If you're living without judgment, you're living with love. You're living in a happier place, and that's going to benefit everyone. And that's it. It's very simple. Shout out to the homosexual community. Be kind. Try and be compassionate. You don't know what people are going through.
Yeah.
Just take everyone for who they are, man. That's
exactly.
It. Also, love to you guys for letting me speak.
Bro,
thank you for coming on. I mean, it's thanks to our friends like you that we're having fun. We have literally, like you say, 10 followers. But
we have 16 now.
But we have so much fun just doing this. Like we get to catch up and like you put your phone away, you completely forget, and you just talk for an hour and 15 minutes.
About what you think is
and it
interesting.
goes by so quickly just because
Yeah.
you know it's.
It flew by. It's great. It's also great to catch up with you guys. Hopefully I see you soon. Guys, also wear your fucking masks.
Wear your fucking masks. Thank you. It's not for you. It's for other people.
Man, it's a piece of cloth covering your face. Like what? Like fuck me. Just wear your mask. Yeah, stay safe and love, bro.
All right, bro.
Caio, I honestly appreciate having you here. You know, always welcome on future episodes.
Thank you to Caio. Thank you, Caio. And
I hope this gets 1 million views, 30,000 likes. Subscribe,
Exactly.
click the like button.
We try to like use reverse psychology and tell them to not subscribe and
And
follow.
don't subscribe.
Don't fucking follow or subscribe. Like hoping that they will.
please do.
Alright.
All right. Much love, dog.
Peace out, guys. See you.
All right, ready?
Pick a podcast. Yo, pick a, yo. Pick a part your soul. Pick a true lightning shot.
Podcast.
Pick a
Podcast.
Pick a
Podcast.
Podcast.
That was a weird one, but fuck it. There it is.
We can do another one and then edit it in.
Let's leave it at that.
All right.